The silence arrived first, not a gentle hush, but a deafening, bone-deep stillness that followed something impossible. It pressed in from every corner, suffocating the air and stealing the light, creating a chilling absence. This silence was the echo of a life extinguished too soon, where laughter and warmth once reigned. For Ana Obregón, acclaimed actress, that oppressive quiet was a physical weight, a tombstone pressing upon her very soul. Her son, Aless, his name, a whispered prayer, a shattered dream, representing a vibrant life of 27 years brimming with infectious energy. He was her universe, her greatest production, her most profound joy, drawing all eyes to him with his charisma. Then came the word, cancer, a brutal assailant delivered in the sterile calm of a doctor's office, a merciless enemy that stole precious months, then weeks, then days. Each moment was a desperate, failing battle against the inevitable. She fought with him, for him, every waking moment, traveling the world seeking miracles. She clung to every flicker of hope, every fragile promise of remission, even as the darkness deepened around them. The vibrant glow of her son began to dim. His strong frame grew frail, and his eyes, once alight with youthful ambition, held a weary understanding. It was a sight no parent should ever witness in their child. And then the ultimate cruelty, the final breath, the chilling stillness of a room where a mother watched her son slip away, leaving behind a void so vast it threatened to swallow the very fabric of her existence. In 2020, the world stopped for Ana, her grief a public spectacle magnified by the glare of celebrity. Every tear, every tremble was dissected by tabloids and mirrored by a nation that had followed Aless's battle. But the cameras couldn't capture the inner landscape of her torment, the endless nights spent staring at the ceiling, listening to phantom sounds of his footsteps. The unbearable weight of a future that had simply ceased to exist crushed her. To lose a child, they say, is to bury a piece of yourself. But for Ana, it felt like she had buried her entire world. The colors drained from life, the music faded, leaving only that profound, aching silence. But within that silence, a fragile echo began to stir, a memory half forgotten amidst the maelstrom of diagnosis and treatment. It surfaced from the sterile, clinical environment of a hospital. Before the first searing round of chemotherapy, a doctor had quietly raised the topic, a routine precaution, a professional suggestion of fertility preservation. Aless, facing an uncertain future, yet clinging to the human desire for continuation, had made a choice. He had frozen his sperm, a small vial of potential tucked away in cryogenic cold. It was a tiny clinical gesture set against the colossal backdrop of his battle. Ana had barely registered it then, her mind consumed by the present danger, by the desperate fight to save her son. But after his death, as the world shrank to the dimensions of her despair, that memory resurfaced. It was a whisper from the grave, a ghostly instruction. Aless, in his final conversations with his mother, had spoken of it. His wish, his profound desire to be a father. A young man, staring down his own mortality, yet dreaming of a life he would never personally witness. He wanted a child, a piece of himself to live on, to brave the future he was being denied. He had entrusted that impossible dream to her, his mother, the one person who understood the depths of his soul. She was the one who would carry the weight of his wishes long after his voice was silenced. The weight of that wish settled upon Ana like a sacred burden, a task of unimaginable scope. How could she fulfill such a promise, bringing life from death, hope from desolation? The medical world offered possibilities, cold and clinical, yet charged with a breathtaking audacity. In vitro fertilization, surrogacy, donor eggs, a language of science that spoke of creation, even as her heart was consumed by destruction. The concept was scandalous, audacious, almost blasphemous to some. To bring forth a child from a dead man's seed, to resurrect a lineage from the ashes of grief, would incite whispers, judgment, and moral outrage. But what was judgment to a woman who had faced the ultimate loss? What were societal norms to a mother consumed by the promise she had made to her dying son? Her grief was a furnace, forging an iron will. Her love for Aless, an unyielding force, would shatter any convention, scale any wall, defy any boundary. The journey began in the deepest secrecy, with quiet inquiries and hushed conversations with lawyers and specialists. She learned about the complexities of Spanish law, which, while progressive, drew a firm line at using posthumous sperm without explicit public consent. Aless's consent, clear to his mother, was not formally recorded in the manner required. This meant her path would have to lead elsewhere, to a place where the boundaries of life and death, of family and biology, were perhaps a little more fluid. Her determined path led to America. The decision was not born of whim, but of a quiet, desperate resolve. It was a promise to a son, a defiant act against the finality of death, a gamble on a future she desperately needed to believe in, to breathe again. She would take his seed, his last vestige of life, and nurture it. She would become the vessel for his dream, not in her own body, which was beyond the age of childbearing, but through the remarkable, often controversial avenue of surrogacy. A donor egg would complete the biological puzzle, providing the missing half. Yet still, the core, the essence, would be Aless, his legacy, his child. The logistics were daunting, the emotional toll immeasurable, traveling halfway across the world under the radar. A woman in her late 60s embarked on a journey most would consider a miracle, if not an aberration. She navigated the unfamiliar clinics of Florida, the hushed consultations, the sterile waiting rooms that felt a world away from her vibrant public life. Each step was a tightrope walk over an abyss of doubt and fear. What if it failed? What if this desperate attempt to mend her broken heart only shattered it further? This profound anxiety weighed heavily on her. The scientific process, cold and precise, unfolded with breathtaking implications. Aless's precious sperm was carefully thawed from its cryogenic slumber, a tiny spark of life reawakened. A donor egg, chosen for its health and compatibility, a stranger's biological contribution to this deeply personal quest, was prepared. Then, the delicate dance of fertilization began in a laboratory petri dish, a silent, unseen miracle. Microscopic embryos, bundles of potential, each one a fragile whisper of Aless's being, developed. Then, the transfer, a moment of intense prayer and suspended breath. One of those precious embryos was carefully placed within the chosen surrogate, a woman whose body would, for 9 months, become the sanctuary for this extraordinary dream. The waiting began, weeks stretching into months, each one an agonizing vigil. Ana lived in a state of suspended animation, her life on hold, her every thought consumed by the developing life in a stranger's womb, thousands of miles away. She learned of the heartbeat, a tiny drumbeat of hope, echoing across the Atlantic, and received ultrasound images, grainy black and white pictures. To her, they were masterpieces of creation, showing undeniable growth and an unfolding miracle. She spoke to the surrogate, a woman who, in her selfless act, was weaving herself into the intricate tapestry of Ana's grief and renewal. It was a strange, disembodied pregnancy for Ana. She couldn't feel the kicks, couldn't experience the physical changes, couldn't prepare the nursery in the traditional way. Yet, emotionally and spiritually, she was more pregnant than any mother could be. This was her son's child, her grandson or granddaughter, growing, thriving, defying death's cold embrace. She spoke to the nascent life inside the surrogate, telling stories of Aless, imbuing it with his spirit, his laughter, his light. She knew, deep within her, that this child was a testament to his enduring presence, a living monument to a love that refused to be extinguished. And then the call. The contractions had begun. Ana flew back to the US, her heart a frantic bird in her chest, the final hours an eternity of anticipation. In the delivery room, amidst the calm efficiency of medical staff, Ana waited. She waited not as a mother giving birth, but as a silent witness to a miracle, an anchor to a destiny she had meticulously, agonizingly helped to forge. Then, the first cry. It wasn't her cry, but it pierced through her silence, shattering years of grief with its raw, potent sound, a symphony that echoed with the ghostly melody of Aless's own infant wails decades before. A tiny, perfect body was placed into her arms, a baby girl, small, warm, alive. Her daughter, legally, her granddaughter, biologically, and unmistakably a tangible piece of Aless reborn into the world. Ana Sandra Lequio. The name was a bridge, linking the past to the present, the lost to the found. Ana for herself, Sandra, a blend of her lost son's name and the hope she now held. Lequio, the surname that bound them to Aless's lineage. The news broke like a thunderclap. The paparazzi, ever present, captured the image. An older woman pushing a baby stroller, a beatific smile on her face, yet eyes that held the weight of a profound journey. The headlines screamed. The world erupted in a firestorm of debate, controversy, and judgment, with tabloids dissecting every angle. Talk shows aired impassioned arguments. Was it a triumph of love, a testament to a mother's unbreakable bond? Or was it a dangerous manipulation of life itself, a step too far, blurring the lines of family and ethics in unsettling ways? Ana faced the storm with a quiet strength. She spoke of Aless's wish, of her promise, of the deep, unwavering love that had propelled her through this extraordinary undertaking. She explained the legal complexities, the necessity of registering the child as her daughter in the US. But in her heart, she knew the truth. This was Aless's daughter, and by extension, her granddaughter. A complex truth, perhaps, but one born of pure, unadulterated love. In the quiet moments, away from the flashing cameras and the clamor of public opinion, Ana held the baby close. She traced the tiny fingers, marveled at the fluttering eyelids, breathed in the sweet scent of new life. In those moments, the world shrank back to its simplest, most profound dimension. A grandmother holding her granddaughter, a mother fulfilling her son's final, most sacred wish. The silence was still there, a constant companion, but it was no longer deafening. It was now interwoven with the gentle sounds of a baby's breath, a soft coo, a tiny sigh. The silence of grief was slowly, miraculously, being filled by the fragile music of a new beginning. This story, born of unimaginable loss and audacious hope, stretches the very fabric of what it means to be human. It challenges our definitions of family, our understanding of death, and the boundaries of our relentless yearning for connection and legacy. Is it an act of scientific hubris or a profound testament to the enduring power of a mother's love? A defiant rebellion against the finality of the grave, or a beautiful, if unconventional, continuation of a cherished life? Ana Obregón, through her extraordinary journey, has opened a door to questions that society must grapple with. In a world where science advances at breathtaking speed, where the capacity to extend life, to create life, to recreate lineage is increasingly within our grasp, what are the ethical lines we dare not cross? And what are the lines that love, in its most desperate and purest forms, will inevitably obliterate? In the quiet nursery, beneath the gentle glow of a nightlight, a grandmother holds her daughter, a mother holds her granddaughter, and in the whisper of a tiny breath, an impossible legacy unfolds. It is a legacy woven from grief and love, from science and faith, from a promise made in the shadow of death, and a life brought forth in the full, bewildering light of a new, complex dawn. The silence, once a tomb, now hums with the bittersweet symphony of a life reclaimed, an echo made flesh, a testament to the audacious, unrelenting power of a mother's eternal, unwavering love for her son. And in the tiny, dreaming face of Ana Sandra, Aless Lequio lives on, a promise kept, a future born. Her small, perfect features reflect the love and loss that brought her into existence.